Hey everybody, welcome to the Tactical Games Podcast. It's Nationals Week, so we've got a bunch of great people in town visiting us. We're at Tactical Games HQ right now, and I'd like to introduce you guys to Alexander Crown. Alexander Crown is the brand manager for
That's
Nightforce.
Right. That's right.
Nightforce is obviously a sponsor of ours, been so for 2 years now. Yep. Excellent to have them on board. One of the big things about our podcast, we don't let anybody on that hasn't competed in the sport.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
This isn't just for jabronis.
Yeah, nice.
We've got to, in order to come on here and talk about what we do, you have to have lived it.
All right.
So you've been out there, you lived it, you competed for the first time this year in Idaho, right?
Yep.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, give a little brief introduction, and then we'll go into your competition.
Yeah, so I'm Alexander Crown. I'm the brand manager for Nightforce Optics. We build premium optics for all sorts of different shooting disciplines. Our 1-to-8s and LPVOs are very popular with tactical games. My background, I was in the Army as an infantryman almost 20 years ago.
Wow.
So that hurts a little to say, but and then had some other industry roles, but I've been with Nightforce almost 4 years now in this role, running the marketing team. And yeah, I competed in the Rupert, Idaho match. That was what do we call that? The Nightforce Showdown.
Nightforce Showdown.
Yep. Yeah. So I was pretty pumped with that. I competed, and my best friend, he competed with me. I called him a few months before the event and was like, "Hey man, I'm doing this thing for work. You like to exercise and shoot guns, so fly up to Idaho." He lives in Houston. So he flew up to Idaho, and we came and competed for the weekend. So
And it was you could, when I first met your friend, what's his name again?
Bill. Yeah.
Bill. When I first met Bill, he had this fear in his eyes that he knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And it was awesome that you talked him into it, and awesome that he actually accepted and
Right.
jumped into
Like,
it. That's cool.
He had not heard of the tactical games. I mean, him and I have been best friends since high school, and Uncle Bill, so he's my kid's godfather. But yeah, he hadn't heard of tactical games, and so he did a quick Google and was like, "All right, how many months do I have to train?" And I think at that point
2 weeks.
it was like 6 months, maybe 5-6 months or something like that. And so it's like, I guess I'll do cardio for the first time and buy a plate carrier. And so that worked out well. It was fun for us to suffer together.
Yep.
Had a good squad. We were squatted together with some other guys, and everyone showed up for the second day, which I think that's one of my favorite stories to tell from that is, on the first day we had the big group picture, and you were like, "Hey, let's all get together because a lot of you won't be here tomorrow." And I thought for sure that was a joke. And then the next morning it's like, yeah, sure enough, man, there's way less people here right now.
We're not going to scare anybody off with that. That's
You can edit that out, but Nightforce has two ambassadors for the tactical games, Jared Halbert and Megan Kennedy, and they were both there.
Yep.
And I was talking to Megan the next morning, I want to say, and she was like, "Yeah, you could tell that there was a lot of first timers at this event, and it was the first one in Idaho.
It was,
so
yep.
I would assume it attracted folks from probably Utah and maybe Oregon and Washington, the Pacific Northwest, and so she had said that you could kind of tell there was a lot of new folks there, and I guess maybe that showed the second day. I don't really know how that works, how you correlate that, but I didn't think it wasn't so bad you weren't going to show up the next day.
I don't know. I saw a photo of you looking pretty rough. It was an interview that you did, and that was actually one of my favorite pieces of media from this year. It was like your interview beforehand, and then it just cut to you afterwards, and it was just disheveled.
Yeah, I was that first stage.
Which was the first stage that you did? Do you remember?
It was the one where we started with the rope climbs.
Okay.
And then, started with the rope climbs.
Is it the single arm farmer's carry and the rope climbs? Yep. Okay.
Yep. And I was the only one in my squad that opted to do any rope climbs. Everyone else was like, "Nope, I'll just hop over and do that." And so I climbed the rope up, shot up again. Then we did the farmer's carries, and then I did it one more time. And then I was like, "No, this isn't working. That's not how I want to live my life, doing rope climbs like that. But yeah, that one was a good event. And so the Nightforce photographer, videographer was out there, and he had me mic'd up. And yeah, when I was like kind of getting geared up at my truck, I was like, hey, put the mic on. This is me before. And then right after, he like runs up with the mic, and I'm just like dirty, and I'd been drinking water. I did not throw up, I want to say. It looks like I did, but I didn't. But I'd been drinking water, so it was all down the front of my shirt, and I was all dusty. It was super dusty in Rupert.
Yeah.
That one was, it was a lot of just a lot of dust. And anywho, I did look pretty tired.
It was hilarious. That was, again,
it was a good one
of my favorite pieces.
Yeah, it's one of my
media
wife's
from this year.
favorites too. So, and then there's a picture of me just like sitting in a chair, kind of sort of recovering from whatever the second stage was. And but overall, I mean, what an awesome event! We had fun, and no, we had a lot of fun, and it was challenging. And now, like going into it, looking back, right, I was so nervous. We're standing there, like getting ready, staring at the rope, and the sandbags are right there, and you're just kind of like running through it in your mind.
Yep.
And I had like no time to do that. Like we got up, and they were like, "All right, go," It's like, oh, okay. But now I've gone over it in my head, and I kind of know what to expect, and so competing again will be slightly less nerve-wracking, I think.
Yeah.
But the other thing going into that event is we were driving there from Boise, and Bill was asking me like, well, what are you just dreading? Like, what's the one thing you hope there isn't any of? And I was like, boy, running. Hope there's none of that. And mentally, I was like, surely there's going to be, because there's always a movement, what I mean?
Yep.
Rucking was what I was hoping for, because
Sure.
I live in the mountains and enjoy rucking. Hate running. But, so there was a 4-mile run, so that was cool. And it was so scenic, because I stared at my feet for 4 miles. And, yeah, there was, anyways, running. But.
So you guys have been on board for 2 years. I remember when we first met you, there was like, you guys knew what the sport was.
Mm-hmm.
The people at Nightforce understood and knew what it was, but it was kind of like dipping your toes in the water the first year. And then when you guys came back, I mean, you guys definitely came back in, and we talk about market share and how many people are, how like a brand that's a sponsor of ours is represented.
Mm-hmm.
Very early on, it was rare that you would see Nightforce in our sport. Now every match, it's like, I think you guys are at like maybe 20% of the shooters are shooting Nightforce. It ebbs and flows a little bit, but
sure.
Clearly people understand the brand now, understand the products that you guys are putting out there. So now that you've shot the match, can you speak to a little bit about your products and how they're suited for the match specifically? Yeah.
So, I was kind of thinking about this earlier today about, what products really fit the bill for the sport. And from us, I think there's really 2 primary ones, and then 2 that are out there. We have 2 different 1-8s, the NX8 1-8, which is super tiny, compact 1-8, and then the ATAC R 1-8.
Yep.
The ATAC R 1-8 is an awesome scope.
That's what I run on.
Yeah,
all
that's
my
what
rifles.
I run,
Yeah,
and it's an amazing optic. It's got great glass. I've shot mine out to 800-900 yards.
Yep.
5.56. It's a good piece of glass, and it's kind of the derivative of our SOCOM contract 1-8, the SVPS Squad Variable Power Scope. It's almost identical to that scope, and they're bomb proof, right? Like
Yep.
You can drop them, you can drag them through the sand and through mud and rain, snow, whatever. It's a Nightforce. And
Yep.
so the NX8 is also a great scope for the sport in that it's super compact, it's pretty lightweight. That one, the only kind of difference between it and the ATAC R has slightly better glass quality, so at those really extended ranges, if you have really small targets, the ATAC R is going to really excel compared to the NX8. But overall, it's still a very popular scope, as we've kind of progressed. And it's always been around in other sports as well.
Sure.
Things like that. And then the other 2 that I think are kind of fitting, and I saw a guy out at Rupert running one, especially now with having offset red dots.
Sure. Yep.
Our NX8 2.5 to 20.
Yep.
So that scope is an awesome scope. Mine, is that one?
That's one right
yeah.
there.
So mine, I got charged for mine this morning when I was on my run. I got the, like the Siri alert, like from my credit card company. Nightforce Optics is charging. I'm like, oh, was rad. Scopes, finally shipped because it was on back order for like 6 weeks for an employee, But anyway, so yeah, the 2.5 to 20 is really well suited, especially, in Idaho up there, we have a lot of open distance. And so getting that kind of mag range is great. And with the red dot offset, it's a super versatile package. So there was a guy out there running that.
Yep.
And then the last option that I think is really well suited is the 4 to 16 ATEC R, and that one is an SPR, DMR style scope. There's been a couple of guys that have run them, for the tactical games, especially again with that offset red dot. So, having that capability is huge. And the Rupert match, we didn't shoot super far.
Right.
I went into that so ready with dope on my gun out to 1,000. I'm like, oh, Nick's gonna throw a curveball out. We're gonna have to shoot really far, and we didn't. But and that's okay. I was ready for it. But I think any of those scopes, it'd be tough to shoot 1,000 with a 1 to 8, 55 grain ammo.
Yeah.
But not impossible. But with that 4 to 16 and 2.5 to 20, you get some real distance out there. Because when I went to the first match that I ever went to without competing was in West Virginia.
Yeah. Peacemaker.
And,
yep.
Yeah, that one they shot some pretty decent distance.
Yeah,
at
I think 680 was our furthest target.
Yeah, which if you're shooting, on 11.5 with 55 grain, that's a hold. You know, that's you got to kind of know what you're doing. A BBC reticle probably wouldn't be super helpful there, and then a red dot's you really got to know what you're doing to get that.
The guys that shoot 3-gun that can pull the 700-yard shots off with a red dot just blow my mind.
It's impressive.
It's a skill.
It is absolutely. That's impressive.
I don't have that skill.
No, I haven't mastered that one yet. Haven't practiced that.
I like
enough,
my ATEC R. I'll just
I'll
just
use and know my holds and guess the wind kind of deal. But that's tough. Shooting 55 grain out at that distance is hard to do, especially with some of the shorter barrels. But that was a cool match too to watch. That was a team event, I want to say.
It was.
But,
yeah. That was a good one. And I think Megan Jared were teammates on that one.
Correct. Yeah.
We Jared and I shot Mammoth this year.
Right.
And we both I used I think I actually used the 4 to 16. I'm sorry.
You used the 4 to 20.
4 to 20. I apologize.
Right.
I used the 4 to 20.
Another great scope.
Yeah. That one was it was excellent. I used Jared's hand loads. Okay. So he's got a 75 grain hand load.
Okay.
And just I don't know. I feel like that's cheating.
That's a lot of trust using somebody else's hand loads. So.
Well, the load was developed for the rifle that I was shooting.
Okay. All right.
And then we went to the range. I zeroed it for myself, and I will tell you, there was one shot that I didn't take. I glassed it. I looked at it. I ranged it. It was 800 yards. It was a ruler. It was I think they're 3x12 or 3x15 rulers with a cross. So it was a cross, not a ruler.
Okay.
And I saw the target. I got on it, and I'm looking at it. And then I just moved on to the next target because 223 at 800 yards.
I mean, it's tough. The wind plays a big role.
Yeah.
At those distances, 700 plus if you want to look at it that way for 223 or 556. That's tough. The range that I go to, in Idaho, we can shoot out to about 900.
Wow.
And so steel targets kind of set up and lately I've been messing with Mark 12s just for fun. And it is tough to make consistent hits on small targets out at 900 yards with 4 MOA ammo and stuff like that.
I've been seeing you guys post about the Mark 12 a lot lately.
Every Monday.
That's cool. Mark 12 Monday, is that what it is?
Monday.
I didn't realize this.
That's a thing. Yeah. Mark 12's if you don't have a Mark 12, you should get one.
It's a cool platform.
They're awesome.
And then I think you have to rattle can it. That's the rule, right?
Yeah, you don't have to rattle can the scope if you don't want to. 'Cause, even I haven't done that yet. But the rifle itself, absolutely.
I saw somebody that Cerakoted their ATAC R today. I saw that online.
Okay.
Yeah. I was very impressed by that. It was flat dark earth.
You got to be careful doing that. But
you're saying you won't warranty it? Is that?
That's not what I'm saying.
It's not normal wear and tear.
Yeah, you just got to be careful with that. Make sure there's an outfit, I don't remember the name of it, that does a lot of optics, and they do a pretty good job. But we get a lot of spray painted optics in.
I'm sure.
For service and stuff. The one mistake that people do is they just take their optic, throw it down, and spray paint it without rings
Taping
or a
anything,
mount.
yeah.
Well, normally they're pretty good about that, but they don't tape where the mount's going to go, and so now you've created basically something in between the mount and your scope.
What was 34 millimeters is now 34.8 millimeters and doesn't fit. Yeah,
that'd be a lot. Yeah, and so anyways, don't do that.
Yeah.
Put it in the mount and then paint it.
That makes
sense. Tape over all the stuff.
You should become like a Cerakoting expert for optics.
Yeah.
Advice online.
Or just, buy like a dark earth scope and if it matters to you. But depending on when this airs and if Ro edits it out or not, depending on when it airs, we have a green ATEC-R getting released.
Ooh.
A pretty limited run of 1-8s. And I don't know if we'll ever do it again.
Yeah.
But those will be released on like the 20th.
Where are they going? Where can people find them?
They'll be going to most of our major dealers.
Okay.
So our dealer locator on the website, and then just hit up your favorite Nightforce dealer and ask them if they have some.
That's awesome.
But, Megan will be running one this
Cool.
weekend, but it's still a secret. So
don't tell anybody.
Still a secret. Don't tell anybody yet. So I asked him when we started. I was like, "Is this live?"
So we were stoked to have you come out and compete this year.
Yeah.
Are there any other members of the Nightforce team that we're going to have out there competing?
I would love to see that.
Yeah. Anybody want to call out in particular?
Let me think about that. Maybe. There's been some talk amongst a couple of our trainers, and then my team that's gone and seen the event. I think it's much more digestible once you've seen it.
Yeah, of course, right. And you now know somebody that's competed in it, right?
Well,
you're the subject matter expert at
right.
Nightforce now.
and initially I was going to compete. One of our engineers was going to compete with me, and she started training with me, and then she got pregnant.
Boom.
And not going to compete.
Ruined the fun for everybody.
Yeah, but she just had her baby, so congratulations. Beautiful baby. But she might compete maybe going into late next year is what she said, or possibly 2026.
Yep.
It just kind of depends. So she would do great. And then, Sarah on my team, I keep pushing her to consider it, so we'll see.
Sarah's been out to enough now. I feel like she gets the flow, the
she's
flavor,
been to,
what's
like,
going on.
several events.
Yeah.
Has seen me suffer, it's not impossible to do.
It's not impossible.
It's
no.
not. Like, there are some parts. Now, actually, I take that back. Let's back up. There was one impossible task for me, and I asked you this, maybe you'll remember at the event, do you just hate short people? And you said no, because Hepner is also a warrior-sized individual, much like myself. And, I don't even know what you'd call it. We had 35-pound sandbags.
Yeah.
And we had to throw them over
the bar,
15 feet in the air.
That's dramatic, but yeah.
It was 15 feet in the air.
I'm pretty sure it was 11, but
that was,
I can understand from your stature how that would look like
right,
it
that's
was.
fair. But we'll go back and check that. But if it was the shorter one, it was 5-1.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was terrible, and I didn't do well at that stage.
How did Bill do at that stage?
All. Bill did okay at that one,
Yeah.
because Bill is 6 foot something.
Yeah, he's taller.
And
yeah.
he's a tall dude, and he did pretty well at that. But I'll tell you, I guess one more thing on that. I watched, because you have to watch the next group after you.
Yep.
The dude I was watching hucked one up there, and it came straight down on his head. And it rung his bell pretty good. I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
And
that's
that
why we
was
use sand and not metal kettle.
Yeah, it was that good call. That's probably a liability thing, but it rung his bell good, and he finished that. That was the 30-minute stage, 28 or whatever it was, where it was just constant. But didn't felt bad for him. But anyways, God, where was I going with that? We're talking about
short kings.
Oh yeah, that's right. There wasn't a lot of advantage of being short in that particular stage.
We do some under things too, and
there
some
was
lower
some
to the
of that,
ground
but
stuff.
but even then, it was not ideal. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. You know what saved? I beat Bill.
Nice.
At that one.
I think handedly, right? Over the weekend.
well,
Did you place higher than him?
yeah, I placed higher than him.
Yeah.
And although he's bigger and stronger and faster than me, which he is, I beat him because I can shoot better than him.
Yep.
And so one of the biggest questions I got asked by a ton of people was, well, what's more important, like being really fit or being a good shooter? And there's no, I don't know, like the answer is you have to be pretty good at both.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
at least decent
To
at both.
excel, you have to be good at both, for sure.
like really good shooters that can't move weight around or their bodies around will not do well,
Right.
because there's stages set up to earn bullets
Yep.
or earn rounds, and that to me was nice, because like I had been shooting a lot leading up to, I shoot a lot anyways, but I'd been shooting a lot more leading up to it, specific to kind of what I was expecting for the stages.
Yep.
And it paid off.
Yep.
I was able to shoot faster and more accurately than some of the other guys in the squad, and that helped me where maybe they were faster than me, certainly faster than me on the run.
Yeah.
But so anybody that's worried about that, like, just kind of be good at both things.
I think the guiding force behind what we do, is to try to get people that are good at shooting better at fitness, because there's not a huge push in people that are active in the shooting community to be interested in health and wellness. Yeah. So the more that we can get people interested in health and wellness from the shooting community, that's a win for us. And the people that are on the health and wellness side, or that are into fitness, to get them more interested in shooting, that's a win for us as well. Our goal is to try to get as many people as we can on both sides and get, healthier Second Amendment supporting country.
Which one came first for you, shooting or health and wellness?
Fitness, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when I was in the Coast Guard, we didn't do a ton of shooting.
Really good looking guys.
Yeah,
so that checks out.
Tall guys. Yeah. No, I did the basic qual. I think I had a marksmanship ribbon for rifle and pistol, but like I never shot a lot. Okay. If I shot, it was because I wanted to go. I was in a technical raid. I did nerd shit. I didn't really shoot a lot in my rate. So sure. I got very into fitness when I got out. When I was in a little bit, but it was really more just like bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And then I got into CrossFit, fell in love with that, and then discovered the tactical games, and that's what brought me into shooting.
Okay.
So the more people that we can get, because I think that's actually pretty common. Only about 15% of our competitors come from a shooting, like they're currently in a shooting sport.
Oh, all right.
85% of them come from, they're interested in fitness, and then they see this and they want to learn and understand more about shooting. So that's like that's what's kind of unique about the tactical games as opposed to the other shooting sports, is most of them just kind of revolve around the same people, but we're trying to bring new people into the space, into shooting.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we've seen,
yep.
And going to the events and talking to folks, there's a lot of new shooters. And, they ask a lot of interesting questions, like, because we go to, Nightforce supports tons of different, shooting competitions.
Yep.
Everything just about minus shotgun stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of events. And, I've gone to a lot of different shooting competitions and talked with all the folks that are there, and you get really knowledgeable people, within that, and then you get some new ones. But, with the tactical games, we got a lot of just great questions. Like in West Virginia, there was a guy that was shooting iron sights for the whole thing, and he was like, hey, why should I not be shooting iron sights? And we were like, man, how much time do you have? Like, iron sights are great. That's what I learned to shoot on. Yeah. But you can do so much more. And I wonder if that guy made that 680 hit with irons, because that'd be impressive.
We had a guy that showed up to our match in GTI, where we did our sniper challenge last year. Right. He came to a true tactical games there, and he had like a true M16 build with irons on it.
Rad.
And we had a long range shot there that was from a rooftop. We'll say targets from like 150 to I think 620 or something like that. And this dude went 1 for 1 and finished it in like 42 seconds.
Fear the man with one rifle.
That's
right?
what exactly.
Like, that's awesome.
This guy walked up and we're like, look at this,
right?
What this guy does. And everybody was just, I think he missed one. I think he went 11 for 10. And it was like the one that he missed was like something happened. It wasn't because what I'm saying. He didn't miss because he didn't pull the trigger well. But those guys, so cool. Every once in a while, will shock you.
Yeah, it's like the dudes that show up to other types of matches wearing, like just like rain boots
Yeah,
and
yeah.
overalls,
Yeah.
and then they just wreck
Yeah,
everybody.
PRS match. Everyone.
I was trying to be nondescript, but yes. And every time, so like you see him and you're like, I don't know, that guy, he's gonna win. Like
They
he's gonna
sit down
win
and they
this.
just mold into the
They
position.
just like been doing it their whole lives on the ranch, and they just gun shoot real good. But anyways, it's pretty impressive what those guys can do.
Besides the green ATAC car,
Yeah.
anything else you guys have coming up you can talk about? I know we'll see you guys at SHOT Show.
Yeah, nothing that I can really talk about now.
Okay.
SHOT Show. Yeah, nothing that I can talk about now.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I know.
Are you guys going to be debuting something at SHOT Show?
No.
No.
Not at SHOT.
Okay. I'm not going to come to your booth at SHOT Show this year because last year I came to your booth and I walked away and I bought an MRAD.
Rad. Yeah, good for you.
Because I
Man.
saw the one that was in the middle of your booth and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is awesome.
We
I
should
need to
have an
this.
MRAD ELR there this year. So I don't know if you are interested in 416 Barrett, but that gun it's a huge gun and it's super cool.
That's my favorite thing in my safe. It's way bigger than any other gun
Yeah.
that I have.
Those are awesome rifles.
They're beautiful.
Our relationship with Barrett is a beautiful relationship. And the Mark 22, those packages they do well.
Yeah.
They are good rifles. We've got a few of them in our for demos, and that's what Sarah shot the last long range match she went to.
Yep.
She was like, I want the MRAD.
If anybody's building like a cool military clone rifle out there, they have to have a Nightforce.
For most of them, yeah. Like I have a clone of my issued gun. It's got an aim point on it,
Yeah.
and it's like it's cool. It sits in my safe, and it's just like, look at that. That's from 20 years ago. But yeah, Mark 12s. That's why they're so prevalent. A couple of different Nightforces on that, and 417s had Nightforce, and Mark 13s, and the list goes on and on. A lot of good clones. The clone community is strong, and as it should be, because they're awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Where are we going to see you in 2025? Where are you going to compete next year?
Probably Idaho again.
Oh, cool.
I heard there might be some longer range at that one.
We're working on it.
Which is exciting. So I'll probably compete in the Idaho match. I'll try and get Bill to come with me and maybe some other folks from the team, and then we'll probably go to the Utah match.
Cool.
I think you and I talked about that a little bit. And then probably come nationals again. And then we'll sort of see. I don't know. We have to talk about the sniper challenge because I don't know where that one's going to be.
YO Ranch.
YO Ranch. So
it's here in Texas.
okay, maybe
It is one of the coolest facilities that we go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should compete in that.
I think you should compete in that one. Yeah, bring Bill out.
Is that a
It's a
partner
partner. It's
one?
only partners. It's a team partner.
I don't know if Bill's ready
competition.
for that. Might have to bring
Maybe bring
somebody
Sarah
else.
out.
Yeah. Might ask Sean Murphy if he
Yeah,
can
there
be
you
my
go,
partner
yeah.
for that one.
He got second in it last year.
Really? Second?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. All
There
right.
was some tomfoolery at the match, and we'll discuss off camera. But
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like second place and Sean Murphy don't normally go in the same sentence.
Yeah. I don't think he was very happy about it. So.
Dang. Yeah, he should come and compete at one of them at a normal match.
I agree. Sean, if you are
Yeah.
out there, we need you to come compete in tactical games.
He should. What
We'll
a
see
great
how he
guy.
does.
But yeah, all right. So YO Ranch for what month is that one?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have so many
you don't
things
have it
going in my head.
memorized? Like what? 2 days before nationals, and you don't have 2025 memorized?
I've slept 4 hours this week. I don't remember.
I bet you
anything.
have. There's been some changes, like last minute,
Just
and
a little bit.
things like that.
Yeah.
But I expect it to go off without a hitch.
I expect so too, and that's
So-
why I've only slept for 4 hours.
I bet.
Well, I appreciate you very much coming out, and
Yeah.
thank you Nightforce for your support. We appreciate that. We appreciate you guys helping our community out and being a part of it, and not only being the name on the back of a T-shirt, but coming out, representing well, coming out and competing in the sport. That means a lot to us. It means a lot to our competitors. So thank you guys very much for that, and for continuing to be a part of it.
Yeah, we're happy to be a part of it. It's been a blast and a lot of fun. Great partnership. I'm really looking forward to 2025.
Awesome. Thanks, Alexander.
Yeah.